Welcome to 5 Minutes of Torah with BI Rabbi. I'm Rabbi Adam Stein. Hope you're all having a good week. This time of year is a time that I often think back to some memories from my family. In 1995, on this week in the Jewish calendar, parsha Lekh Lekha, my little sister had her bat mitzvah. And it was a wonderful morning service. A family friend of ours, just a young teenager herself, got up and sang, accompanied by a friend of ours from the synagogue on guitar. She sang Lekh Lekha, Lekh Lekha, this beautiful song by songwriter Debbie Friedman. Lekh Lekha, to a land that I will show you. This beautiful song about God calling to Abraham and Sarah, or Avram and Sarai as they were called before their names changed, telling about this journey they would be going on. My sister was great. It was a wonderful, wonderful morning, November 4th, 1995. And then after the service, we found out that Yitzhak Rabin had been assassinated. So that was in Israel. I just looked it up. It was 9:30 p.m. Israel time, which makes sense because it was probably towards the end of the service while we were in the synagogue service, which is why we didn't know about it. And we found out maybe at the Kiddush or later in that afternoon. So it made for, certainly it balanced the joy of the simcha, the celebration, the bat mitzvah, with the sorrow of Rabin's death. And it made the afternoon difficult as we're trying to figure out what do we do about this celebration, this party we're going to have when we just found out about this tragedy in the Jewish world. We did go ahead with the party. We began with Havdalah ceremony that I think I led with a cousin of mine. I believe, as I recall, we found some way to mention Rabin's death in an appropriate way, but it makes me think as a shul and as a rabbi, we do this all the time. We balance the sadness of life with the joy in life, celebration with mourning. Even Rabbi Infeld or I, throughout the week, or even in a certain day, on a Sunday often, we might have a baby naming or a bris, and a funeral or two, or an unveiling or two, and maybe sitting with a couple sadly about a separation or difficulty in a marriage, maybe performing a wedding, all on the same day. My first day as a rabbi, actually, at my first synagogue in Kansas City, I went to a bris and sadly a divorce proceeding and a funeral, and also a board meeting. So that was the real gamut of life cycle events, if you include the board meeting. But it speaks to the journeys that we're all on, the journeys that we're on every week, every month, every year, and even throughout the day, especially as we see these different parts of one's journey happen that we get to interact with as rabbis, as clergy, as educators in a synagogue, in a community institution. Lekh Lekha, the parsha really speaks to it, that as God is telling Abraham to go to a land that I will show you, a land that you don't know yet, leaving your family. In the first verse it says, leaving your family, your place of birth, your father's house. And Abraham and his wife, they go on this journey, and it continues over the next several weeks of Torah portions. So we are all certainly on these journeys. There's a journey for the B'nai Mitzvah families, for others of various ages in our shul, and that continues with Shabbat every week. This week, the Shabbat Project, tomorrow night, that we're connecting with shuls and institutions around the world, started by the chief rabbi in South Africa a few years ago. We're doing a big program. Our service tomorrow night will start at 5:30 instead of 6. This never happens throughout the year. It's only Yom Kippur that we start any other time than 6. This time we're going to do a service about 45 minutes starting at 5:30. If you end up coming at 6 like regular, you're still fine. If you're saying Kaddish, for example, Kaddish comes towards the end of the service. You'll catch the end of the service. But it should be a great event tomorrow. A great speaker on Saturday morning, by the way, a Muslim Arab man from Israel who is pro-Israel and Zionist, very, very interesting. And also, one more reminder about our Torah U program. Rabbi Miles Cohen, who's a great expert on synagogue practice and Torah reading, all sorts of things. Will be here with us for 2 weeks, and it's a great opportunity to learn with him. There's a cocktail reception at 4:30 p.m. on November 5th, Sunday. He arrives that morning. And please check out our website or our flyers or Facebook for information about all the other events during his stay here, including the Shabbat Scholar in Residence during the second Shabbat that he's here. That's on the 17th and 18th of November. Shabbat Shalom. Look forward to seeing you soon.